Welcome everyone to another episode in our series of Meet the Volunteers, where we get to know the background and motivation of the volunteers with Pros Pro Bono and explore a little bit what they get out of being part of this very dynamic program. And today it's my great pleasure to welcome Marina Denogent, who lives, well, tell us, Marina, where do you live?
Hello everyone. I live in France, in the eastern part of it, in the border, at the border with Luxembourg and Germany, near Metz.
Okay, so that's a good multicultural, multilingual background for any translator. So you obviously speak English, French. I think, do you speak German as well?
Yeah, and a bit of
From
Italian.
from where you grew up, or from learning in school?
No, actually, I'm from Burgundy, from a very Franco-French family, not multicultural at all. But I grew up with a love for languages and so on, and
Okay.
traveling. Yeah.
And have you always been a translator, or is this, one of a series of jobs you've done?
Yeah. I've had a chaotic beginning in my working life. I've tried many things, then started again with my studies in Germany, in France at first, and in Germany then. And yeah, I grew up. I grew this cultural baggage and tried to develop it to be a translator, basically.
And do you feel now, after doing those different jobs, do you feel that this is the job for you?
Yeah,
Really?
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Well, that's good.
yeah, my
That's good to hear. And so, how long have you been a translator as a freelancer?
I'm full-time freelancer since 2016.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
So 8 years, that's a good long time already. And obviously, you're still here, so you must be doing something, something right.
been fighting
Okay,
for it. Yeah.
that's good. Now tell us a little bit about how you first came across our program, Pros Pro Bono. How did it reach you? And what made you think, I might explore and discover what that's about?
I found out a bit about the program through Facebook on the group Pros, and yeah, I was immediately interested in taking a part to it, and
Okay,
it was
so
great.
what was it about it? Because as we all know, it represents extra work. It's pro bono, so it's work for free. What interested you to kind of sign up and join this program? Because I think you were one of the very earliest people to come along.
I'm always looking for opportunities to basically help and participate to associations, and I love doing pro bono work. I'm a volunteer at a local association for tree growings and so on, and it was for me this part of the program was very thrilling for me,
Okay.
and also it's a great opportunity to develop as a translator because you have feedback which you don't always have through professional tasks, projects.
Well, that's something we've been very careful to introduce is this reviewer and translator system because you're completely right that most of the time when we submit work to agencies, we never see it again and we only hear feedback if it's bad. You know, we don't really get developmental feedback or see how we can develop our texts. But in our program, we're developing these relationships between translators and reviewers. And over time, you get to know the translator or the reviewer actually pretty well. And, who knows in future, if you were ever asked to collaborate, that would be people right there that you could call on to work with you. Okay, one of the reasons I'm speaking to you today is because you happen to be the translator who's done the biggest number of words. I think I should check this. It's about 148,000. Is that right?
First, I'm a reviser, so it might I might take a big numbers because revising is always quicker as than translating. So
That's true, but it's also more responsible in a way. So we give an equal number of points to revision and to
mhm.
translation because you can't have one really without the other. So you've played this great role, and you're still coming forward when we get, as we frequently do, texts into French. Do you have a particular kind among this humanitarian spectrum? Do you have a particular kind of favorite texts, kind of more journalistic, more analytical, more scientific, or do you like them all equally?
I'd say journalistic is, yeah, because I can learn so much from different contexts, different issues, problematics, and so on. It's really, really interesting for me.
And you're also interesting within our program because we have a lot of people who are very active on the community side, on the social. They act as ambassadors or as ninjas, as we call them, or they're on various committees. And other people focus mostly on translation. And you're one of those people. You do a lot on the translation side. And of course, everyone chooses and finds their own path. So there's no expectation. But you prefer to stick to the translation and not really get involved with the whole social media side. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's easier for me to. There's two sides of it. I would really loved to be more involved in WhatsApp and the meetings we you have every week. But yeah, sticking to committing to time things like say, yeah, I prefer to work at my own pace, and basically translating is what brings me joy. That's why I do what I do,
Right.
and yeah,
And it's an important message, within a community of over 1,240 people now, we've got all different personality types and then all kinds of backgrounds. We've got backgrounds of people who have families, young children, people who are single mums, people who are working in economically difficult circumstances, whether that's in Somalia or in Sweden. So each person has their own unique circumstances, and we never expect anyone to do anything. Even translation, we're always grateful when people translate. So we're not expecting every person to do everything. We're just grateful that we have a community of people who together manage to cover all the bases. So tell me a little bit about, to finish, what do you get out of the program now? So you already said that you like to give, and that's a benefit in itself because you're contributing to a real cause. But what motivates you to come back now that you're in the program, to come back time and again and do more work for us?
first, I'd like to add that I really enjoy reading reading you all on WhatsApp, and even if I don't answer on the thread, I really have fun reading the comments, and that's part of what I take also out of the program is taking part to a community and yeah, reading different opinions on the position of a translator and the mission we have as a pro bono community. It's great.
And would you encourage other translators, if you knew other translators around, in French or in other languages, to join this?
Yeah, I would totally. For me, it's really important. We are translators behind our screen and working all day alone, and it's very important to not lose touch with the team spirit that can be part of the life of a translator on revision, project
Yeah.
coordination, and so on. Yeah.
And of course, behind all of that is the knowledge that every text that you work on is having an impact on someone's life or on a community, a group of people of one nationality in a town, all people going through difficult circumstances. So every
Yeah,
word that you do makes a small difference to the world.
of course. Yeah, I didn't mention it, but it's so obvious for me that, yeah, yeah, having an effect, an impact on something, any tiny step can be great reward to see.
That's fantastic. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time today, Marina. It's been great to talk to you, and thanks for everything you do for the program.
Thank you.